What is up, guys? DT Ninja here to give you guys my RuroKen Hokkaido Arc character discussion on Koshijirou Kamiya. Okay, guys, before we get to that, I finished chapter 23, the latest chapter of the Hokkaido Arc, so you guys can check that out on my official website or my archives, so I've left the links in the description of this video. Also, I will be doing a review and a discussion that will be coming in the coming weeks, probably in a week or two. But before I did that, I wanted to do this video. I have another video that I wanted to do specifically on the Hokkaido Arc, and this is a discussion that I always wanted to do more in depth. So let's get to the discussion. So who is Koshijirou Kamiya? So I have 5 discussion questions. The first one is very simple, but I want to give you guys a little background information. So Kamiya, when you think of Kamiya, obviously you think of Kaoru, right? This is my original cell artwork from the anime. You guys can see Kaoru Kamiya. Who is Koshijirou Kamiya? Obviously is Kaoru's father, right? Kaoru's father, the Kenjutsu master, the founder of Kamiya Dojo, and Kamiya Kashin Ryu, which is the Kamiya Kashin style of swordsmanship. Obviously, Kaoru is the assistant master, and she trained, Yaiko Yutaro in this style. So obviously, we know a little bit about it, and also this style of swordsmanship is based on the revitalizing of the spirit. Literally, Kamiya Kashin literally means revitalizing the spirit, rejuvenating the spirit. It basically refers to the heart, right? The spirit of a swordsman. And instead of a blade, they use a shinai, which is a bamboo sword, right? A bamboo sword. So that is what we've seen. And also you see Yaiko use this in the series as well. And it's basically a sword that protects people, right? Not necessarily slaying others, right? It's the opposite of slaying people, protecting others. So a very interesting thing is, I wanted to point out, is a fun fact, is that Kenshin literally means heart of sword, which is interesting because he meets Kaoru and he agrees with her way of swordsmanship. And, he actually, gravitates towards, believing in her style and the way for the new generation. So it's very interesting because his name, literally, Kenshin, is the heart of sword. So I found that interesting. Also, his real name, his original name, Shinta, also has the kanji for for heart. So it's very interesting that it's that way because they just go so well together. It just makes sense. Anyways, okay. Another thing, there is a quote that Kaoru says from the series. This was when she was teaching Yutaro about the Kamiya Kashin. And this is after he shows her, he's got a sword and he doesn't know how to use it. And she says, I will teach you swordsmanship. And he's just not using the sword correctly. Like, he has the shinai, but he's just wildly swinging it. And she's like, when you're learning about swordsmanship, you're learning about your heart. And so this refers back to the spirit and revitalizing the spirit. So it's all about the spirit of a swordsman. So that is the sword that protects. Okay, going back to Koshijirou now. Now, he is not only Kaoru's father, the founder of Kamiya Kashin, but he is also a very skilled swordsman that fought in the Bakamatsu, the revolution in Kyoto. Now, the reason he adopted the Kamiya Kashin is after the impact of the actual revolution he had on him. He probably was, taking people's lives, and he realized, the swordsman can still be instilled in people. He can learn, he can teach others about swordsmanship without hurting them, without slaying them. And that's the idea. We don't know whether he was on the shogunate side or for the imperialists, but we do know that the war deeply impacted him, and that is why he came up with the Kamiya Kashin style. It's why he, was a teacher and, teaching students Kamiya Kashin. So that's what we know. He's a very skilled swordsman. He's a kenjutsu master. Another very interesting fact would be that swordsmen like Goro Fujita, aka Hajime Saito, Nagakura Shinpachi, Yoshie Sugimura, these Hijikata Toshizo, these were all kenjutsu masters, so it's very interesting that he is also kenjutsu master. I wouldn't say that he's on their level, but the fact that they are all kenjutsu masters would suggest he has, he's very skilled. So I'm sure he is very skilled. That's what we know about him from the series. We also know that Kaoru states that he was killed in battle, in the war. So he was drafted in the war by the Meiji government, and he went off to fight in Seinan. Now, Seinan, I actually have my notes here. Seinan is literal translation, the southwest of Japan, the Southwest War. So it's the most southern, but also west part of Japan. There's 4 islands. It's the southwest of it. And this was the uprising of the former samurai who were disgruntled by the Meiji government and their abolishing of swords, and also the, taking away the status of the samurai. And you guys know Saigo Takamori is very influential in the Meiji era. He kind of led this uprising, and this was the battle, the fight, the war between the Satsuma region samurai. That's why it's called the Satsuma Rebellion, against the Meiji government. So this was known as the Satsuma Rebellion, the Seinan War. Now, apparently Koshijirou joined the Meiji government because he was drafted. So I assume he is in the Meiji government and used for his skills. Now, what's interesting about this is that his and also this battle, the Seinan, happened September 1878. And just for a little history lesson, this was 9 years after the revolutions. And if you want to go by the timeline in Kenshin arrives in Tokyo. I think he arrives in the 11th year of the Meiji, and this happens in the 10th year of the Meiji. So it's very and actually in the series he actually mentions Seinan, it happened last year. So that kind of shows the timeline that this Koshijirou fought in this battle before Kenshin, the story starts. So that's interesting. Okay, now going back to Koshijirou, what happened in Seinan? What happened during this war? We don't know, but what we do know is that Kaoru believes that her father died in the battle, that he was killed in battle. And obviously a lot of samurai died. Saigo Takamori, the last samurai, you guys know his legend. A lot of people died, and these were former samurai. So even if they were fighting for the Meiji government, it's possible that you might have seen people you might have fought alongside the samurai in the revolution, but now you're with the Meiji government, so it's kind of conflicting in a way. But yeah, that leads us to the second question, and that is, what happened during the Seinan War? What happened with Koshijirou? What happened to him? We thought he had died. Kaoru stated this, but in fact, he's alive. He's alive. In fact, in the first volume, chapter 1 of the Hokkaido Arc, the very beginning shows Kaoru, and she's praying to her father. You see her right there. The anniversary of his death. So this has been a while since he supposedly died, but she's praying to him, and so we're supposed to believe that he's dead, right? So, but a big thing in the Hokkaido Arc is that he's still alive. So what actually happened in that war? What actually happened? He survived somehow, but what happened to him? Because obviously he didn't return, right? Why didn't he return home? Why didn't he come back to Kamiya Dojo? Why didn't he contact Kaoru? These are a lot of interesting things to think about. Now, what happened? So this is my thinking. There's no way for us to know exactly, but the fact that he created Kamiya Kashin based off of his experiences in the Bakumatsu, the revolution, leads me to believe that after he created this, after he taught his students this, he had to leave and fight in the war. This deeply impacted him again, but in a negative way. So the impact of the first war, he turned a negative into a positive. But here, he had been living peacefully. He had been instilling this into his students, and now he's conflicted because he has to take lives instead of save them. Instead of protecting others, he has to take them. So maybe this deeply affected him, and going back to Kaoru, going back home, he wouldn't be able to continue the way he did. He just, it's like a psychological, it's a mind thing. It's also just the philosophy. He's conflicted. He's been teaching his own daughter the principles of Kamiya Kashin, and here he's taking lives. So to go back to that, it's not going to be easy. So it was very hard for him. I believe he just left and, just started wandering the country. That's my feeling. But what do you guys think? You guys can tell me what you think, what happened. But I just have a feeling that he used this sword to take others' lives, and he didn't have a choice. It's a war. But maybe the people he had to take, kill, were actually people that he knew, that were former samurai that he fought alongside. And that would be very, heartbreaking in a way, and kind of shattering his, way of swordsmanship. So anyway, that's my thinking. Question number three. Why did the Yaminobu have a photo of Koshijirou? So, in Chapter 1 of the Hokkaido Arc, obviously, we have Asahi and Ashitaro. If you don't know these characters, please read the Ashitaro, the ex-con, the prologue of the Hokkaido Arc. Okay? So, Asahi is a member of the Yaminobu. We learned this in Chapter 10. And her subordinates are kind of forcing her to be in this line of work. They kind of raised her, and she wants out. So in Chapter 1, we see her desperation. She wants to live a life where she doesn't have to, kill people. She doesn't have to, suffer anymore. And you can see in her face here, she's saying, I want to shine in the new era. And this guy, Sako, is saying, you don't have a choice. You can't even read. What gives you the right to, have freedom? We've raised you. This is what you're going to do. So anyways, Asahi's new assignment comes with this letter. Now this letter, why am I showing you this? Because it has the character for sword on it. This actual character means sword. It's ancient for ken, which could mean Kenkaku Heki. As you guys know, the Kenkaku Heki are the main organization swordsmen in this arc. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. These are the Kenkaku Heki right here. Okay, Kenkaku Heki. So we see the same the same thing being held up. Let me show you in Chapter 2 by the Kenkaku Heki there on the Mount Hakodate, and you can see this letter in blood. You can see it there. This is their demands. You see this letter right here, this character is for ken. It's the same thing. So that letter that I showed you there is actually from the Kenkaku Heki. That's my feeling. And the Yaminobu have this letter. Inside the letter is a picture of Koshijirou. So you're probably wondering, why am I talking about a letter? But actually, it has a picture of Kaoru's father. Okay? There's Kaoru's father right there, Koshijirou. So now we find out that he's still alive and he's living peacefully. Well, we think he was living peacefully in Hokkaido. So in Hakodate, this picture was taken in Hakodate. It's actually shown that it's in Hakodate. So that is what we've seen. And so we make a connection. Kenkaku Heki, they have the letter, they give it to the Yaminobu. Then we find out in Chapter 12 that Kaoru informs Asahi that that photo that we found was stolen from Tamoto's studio. So she talked to Tamoto, and he said it was stolen from the studio. So someone came in there and stole it. Whether it's the Yaminobu, we don't know, but the fact that it has the letter with the character for Ken, I have a feeling it's a Kenkaku Heiki member, and they passed it on to the Yaminobu because we know there is a connection there. Chapter 10, we find out they make an alliance, so obviously there's something going on between the two. So why do they have it? Like I said, Asahi's new assignment was going to be to track down Koshijirou. Why? The same reason she tracked down Ashitaro. Probably they want, something of his. I don't know if it's, just to get, to the Batosai, because, the Yaminobu is, an enemy of the Batosai. They bear a grudge towards them since the Bakamatsu. But there's something going on there. So anyways, that's very interesting, that alliance being formed. Okay, so I know that was kind of fast. I kind of wanted to make it concise, but I hope it didn't go too fast. Okay, the next question. Where is Koshijirou now? Where is he? And why is he hiding out? Well, he's staying hidden. What is the reason that he is staying hidden? Okay, so what I did is, to make this more simple, I used 5 characters from the series, and I made scenarios for each. So the first scenario, this is a possible scenario. So what happened was, like I said, he fought in the war, the Southwest War. He was forced to take others' lives. He's conflicted, it really tore him inside, and he just couldn't return home. He went off and he wandered Japan. He found himself in Hokkaido. Maybe he's looking for a new life. Maybe not just a new life, but just a way to get back to where he was. And he happened to come across, a dangerous enemy, and it just happens to be the Kenkaku Heiki. And in doing so, he protected someone who was being, threatened by them. So that's my feeling on scenario 1. So it's very similar. I call this the Kenshin scenario. The Kenshin scenario, right? He killed someone close to him, or, take people's lives. He wants redemption. He wanders Japan, and then he finds himself in Tokyo protecting Kaoru. This is the Kenshin scenario. That's what I feel. And obviously around, the Batosai, there's a lot of enemies that come after him. So this is my feeling for scenario 1, the Kenshin scenario. Okay, scenario number 2. He's really, people around Hokkaido are noticing his presence. He's trying to stay hidden, but after this encounter, possibly, so 1 and 2 could be connected, that maybe the Kenkaku Heiki are searching for him because they notice his skill, they see, they realize that he's a former swordsman, master of Kenjutsu. They just want his skills for their group. So, or maybe they have something else in mind. So this would be the Master Hiko scenario. Now, why do I call it Master Hiko? Because Master Hiko is usually nowhere to be found. He's always staying hidden, and everyone is looking for him. So that's my feeling. And obviously in the Hokkaido Arc, we have a lot of people looking for Koshijirou. So this is the Master Hiko scenario. So number 2. Okay, number 3. After being conflicted and trying to find himself again, he wanders to Hokkaido, right? And he's just looking for inner peace. He's wandering from place to place, trying to stay hidden, and trying to get back to where he was. So it could refer to number 1 as well, but this refers to the Sojiro Seita scenario. The Sojiro Seita, because obviously Sojiro took people's lives, and he had to find the answer for himself, whether what he was doing was right or wrong. So he traveled to Hokkaido, and he was going place to place and looking for, the inner peace, the answer to his own, journey. So this would be the Sojiro Seita scenario. So number 3, Sojiro Seita. Number 4, he's wanted by the Meiji government. Okay, let's say he was fighting on the opposite side, which is probably unlikely. that he was on the samurai side, because the samurai were disgruntled with how they lost their rank, and also they lost the spirit of, you know, the swordsman. But the fact that he's wanted by the Meiji government makes it sound like he fought for the wrong people, or he fought against the government. I just don't see that happening, but that would be another thing. The Meiji government is after him. So this would be the Sanosuke Sagara scenario. Obviously, Sanosuke got in trouble with the law, right? And is wanted by the government. He went off to travel the world, and they're probably, you know, it's probably died down by now, but that would be the Sanosuke Sagara scenario. So maybe he's wanted by the government, he did something in the war, and yeah, that's why he can't return home and endanger Kaoru. So that's my feeling. Number 5 is he's protecting his family. He's protecting his family. Something is preventing him from coming home. And actually, Kenshin makes a quote in the arc, chapter 1. He says, "How is it that a man that fought in the Southwestern War is living in Hokkaido peacefully?" And obviously, it's probably not in peace, but why didn't he return to Kamiya Dojo? Is something preventing him from coming home? So this is my 5th scenario. Something is preventing him from coming home. He's protecting his family. He's protecting Kaoru, and he's being forced to work for an organization that, you know, is kind of shady, you know, dangerous. This would be the Megumi Takane scenario. Obviously, you know, Megumi had this situation happen to her in the series. So there are 5 possible scenarios for me. The Kenshin scenario, the Hiko scenario, the Sojiro scenario, the Sanosuke scenario, and Megumi. So which do you guys think it could be? Or do you guys even have another scenario that is possible for him to be under? So anyways, those are just my possible things that could have happened to him or is happening to him. Okay, the last question. Why haven't we seen anything from Koshijirou? So it also connects to the last one. Where is he? Why haven't we seen any clues about Koshijirou? The only clue we've seen is the picture, right? And we've obviously seen a connection between Kenkaku Heki and Yaminobu. So that's one clue, right? There's an alliance. Something is happening between them. The other thing is that there is Nagakura Shinpachi. The very first time we see him is in chapter 9, in volume 2. We see him at Kabato prison. We see him as a samurai here. Actually, not a samurai, sorry. As a swordsman at the Kabato prison, and you can see him right there. You don't see his face. That is Yoshie Sugimura. Now, when we see him when he's looking for Sojiro, he says something very interesting. The woman is in trouble, and he says, "Hey girl, there are no longer any samurai." So a lot of people were thinking that could possibly be Kaoru's father. Now, I have a feeling Watsuki and Kaoru Kurosaki are telling us that Nagakura Shinpachi is similar to Kaoru's father. Now, why is that? Because 1, they're both Kenjutsu masters. 2, they both taught people Kenjutsu. And for example, Kaoru's father, Koshijirou, taught the Kamiya Kashin to his students in Tokyo. And, Nagakura Shinpachi taught the prison guards Kenjutsu. They both live in Hokkaido. That's another thing. They both have children. Nagakura Shinpachi has a son, and Koshijirou has a daughter. And also, they're both very carefree. They both like to laugh. They both like to be goofy. I mean, the picture of Kaoru's father is pretty goofy in itself. I mean, he's doing a photobomb of someone. I'm not sure exactly who it is, but he's kind of jumping in the picture. You guys can show you this picture here. You can see he's kind of being goofy here. He's jumping in the picture here. So he's kind of, a carefree spirit. And so is Nagakura Shinpachi. Shinpachi's been shown to kind of be goofy as well. And I'll show you some pictures here. There's Nagakura Shinpachi. You can see him laughing there. So they definitely have some, you know, specifics. And also he called himself a Tanuki, which is also something that Kaoru has been referred to as. And also we've just seen a lot of similarities. You know, he fought in the Bakamatsu. They both did. They both fought in wars. They're both Kenjutsu masters. I just feel like this is a clue to maybe, you know, Kaoru's father is very similar to Nagakura, and maybe even he's very skilled. We've also been told that. Just by seeing Nagakura Shinpachi, he's very strong. So obviously the fact that he's very mysterious, he probably is very skilled. So yeah, that's my feeling, guys, on Koshijirou. I hope you guys enjoyed my discussion. What do you guys think? What do you guys think happened to Koshijirou? Why is he staying hidden? What scenario do you think Koshijirou is currently in? And why didn't he return to Kaoru or even contact her? Because this photo wasn't supposed to be shown, it was stolen, right? And the fact that it was stolen kind of rejuvenated Kaoru. She got really happy, she's still alive, you know? So that's the whole point of the Hokkaido arc. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for my discussion. I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.